Hi, Robby. I'm so excited to have you on one of our podcasts today, representing the Karen Wellington Foundation, and I really appreciate your time.
Oh yeah, glad to be here.
Great. And I don't even know if you remember this, but I think you were a baby. I met your mom through friends of ours and stayed in touch with her many years. And she was an amazing woman. And I love the fact that her legacy has lived on this way. I mean, this foundation has just grown immensely since it got started. So I was hoping today, in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, that you could kind of talk about the Karen Wellington Foundation and how you're supporting the breast cancer community would be great.
Sure. Well, glad to hear that you knew her. I mean, I get that from time to time. And now the cool thing is this foundation, which I'll talk about, has grown. I hear from so many people, you know what? I didn't know your mom. I don't even know who you are, but I know who your foundation is. And that has gotten pretty cool. So in a nutshell, my mom's foundation the Karen Wellington Foundation sends women and families living with cancer on vacations. These are women that are having a terrible year fighting cancer, that have nothing fun on the calendar. They got chemo, they got to pick their kids up from practice, they got work, they got radiation, they got nothing else that's fun on that calendar. We do fun things for them, whether it's vacations, spa days, you go to a show with your girlfriends, anything along those lines. If it's fun, we do it. And the foundation started out really in memory of my mom. And you mentioned you knew her when I was little. At the ripe age of 30, she was diagnosed with cancer. I was about 6 years old. My sister was 4. She fought for a little under 10 years and packed a lot of life into that amount of time. Yeah, you knew her through that, I'm sure. I'm sure I don't know whether you guys you probably were at cocktail parties together, maybe playing tennis. She sang in a band, had a little retail store where she'd go shopping, going on like shopping, buying trips to New York with her friends, buying a bunch of clothes and stuff like that. And she loved it. And she was a friend of many, as up today. And as I mentioned earlier, she started getting really sick near the end. We had a vacation planned to Nantucket. And she always told my dad, don't you dare take that thing off the calendar. I may be in the hospital right now. I may not be able to leave, but don't you dare take that off. And as it started getting a little later, we realized that we may not be able to do that trip. And we thought it'd be cool when she passed if we sent one family a year on a vacation. We thought that'd be pretty sweet. And when she passed away about 16 years ago now, 15 years ago, when she passed away, in lieu of flowers at her funeral, we thought it'd be cool to raise a fund and in her memory, send that one family to Nantucket, send one family on a vacation. And if the foundation was just me, my sister, and I, the foundation would have been around for 15 years and we would have done 15 vacations, and that would have been pretty cool and that would have been good. But fortunately, like you, my mom had a lot of friends, and that foundation through them just started growing and growing. This year, with the foundation, we will be sending someone on a 1,500th gift of fun or trip. We have grown like crazy. People get what we're about, and we are all about putting fun on the calendar. So that is the foundation there in a nutshell.
I think it's great. And I love the message about people when they're suffering and going through hard times to still be able to have something to look forward to. Because, I have not had a cancer diagnosis myself, but even friends, a lot of it's just this mindfulness and having that ability to look forward to things, things to make your life as normal as possible. And the fact that you're giving that back to our community. And I know you've expanded into other cities and states outside Cincinnati, which just shows how big the foundation's grown.
Just saying along those lines, we like to say we're as much of a cancer foundation as we are a mental health foundation. I mean, you need, like you were saying, you need that break from just going through it. So the mental health piece is just as important. And yeah, you mentioned we've got 4 ambassador cities now. We've got 6 other cities we're headquartered in. If you know anyone that would like to start a chapter, reach out to us. We'll just keep expanding here.
Yeah, I think that's great that you mentioned that, because I'm sure someone in our viewership, a couple of things, either have ideas as far as expansion, but also have homes or experiences that they may be willing to donate to the cause. And I love what you're saying about mental health because, we're talking about, the lady that's suffering from breast cancer, but the family suffers too,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah,
especially if you have kids and they're in school and they're trying to have normal lives. And, all we hear about outside cancer right now is mental health, right?
yeah.
So you're really serving two purposes. And I wouldn't have thought about that when we started this conversation.
Yeah, and it's something that we really have started to think about, as you mentioned, in the past few years, just through a different lens. Hey, this is what we do, whether it's for, like you were saying, whether it's for the patient, typically a mom, it's often just as much for that dad that has been for the husband that's been in the trenches with her,
Yeah.
for her kids that have been going through that, and getting those memories of mom instead of being in the chemo chair or being in the hospital bed, those memories being on the beach with a martini glass in her hand make a big difference.
Yeah, it really does. So within the foundation, I know most of it's around sending them on these adventures and memories, but I would assume if they reach out to the foundation, you guys have resources just about awareness around breast cancer, and probably have partnered with other agencies that are focused in different areas, which I like that in this city, that you guys all kind of work together.
Oh yeah. Well, that's what we always, I mean, the medical community in this town, the cancer community has been fantastic. They get what they're about. There's a lot of other great foundations in town doing that sort of thing. And as you mentioned, you link someone up with us. If you know anyone that's going through that year, just Google Karen Wellington Foundation and nominate them. We'll be sure to connect you with those other groups. It's not just the going in and getting radiation. It is the total cancer journey. It's a complete 360. And aside from those vacations, other fun stuff we're doing, again, like I mentioned earlier, we do a lot of spa days or fun in a box. During COVID, we'd come up to your front porch with a cool custom box. You could have a Netflix movie night where you'd have gift card to Netflix, popcorn, all that stuff, deliver it to you. So it's all about fun, and it all contributes to that mental health piece we were talking about.
I think that's fantastic. And from our perspective, when I started thinking about Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we've had so many enhancements to like medical benefits where now your mammogram is covered and the 3D mammogram's covered. And I think it's important, whether you get the good news that you do have cancer or don't have cancer, just early detection is so important. And unfortunately, it's kind of the month we use to remind people, to get those services done. And for those that get that not so great piece of news, to be able to connect with resources like the Karen Wellington Foundation, to just try and educate themselves and take advantage of what's available in their community. So I really appreciate your time. Is there anything new coming up or any special projects we should talk about before we?
Oh yeah. Well, if you got any downtime in October and you're bored and you want to go to a fun event, we've got about 35 different events in town and elsewhere. So I don't know what you like to do. If you're a golfer, we've got a Western themed golf event in about a month at DeVue Park. If you got dogs, we've got dog walking events. If you're ever bored on a weekend and you want a good reason, an excuse to drink beer for a good cause, we've got a ton of those. So if you go to our website, again, Google Karen Wellington Foundation. We've got an event page. Regardless of what part of town you're living at, we've got something for you. And then most importantly, as I'll tell everyone that hears about the foundation, I mentioned it before, if you've got someone that could use fun on the calendar, nominate them. We are a Give First Foundation. You don't know anything to us. We'll do a trip for them. We'll do a spa day. If you got someone at your work, you got someone that lives down your street, someone at your kid's school, we'd love to do those kind of trips. Got info on the website to do that. It's just all through that portal. So big month for us.
Thank you. And I'll make sure that we include the link to the website for those as well, because I think if we can get some nominations for people and some events for you guys, that would be fantastic. Well, It was great seeing you all grown up. Since it's been a long time.
It's been a while. It's about 26 years, it sounds like.
And I'm really excited for everything you guys have going on. And I look forward to attending some of the events and nominating some people as well. So thank you for your time.
Excellent. Thank you, guys.
Okay. Have a great day.
Thanks.
Thank you.